Alright. Early morning stream. And it's time to finally do something I've been holding off because of timing and stuff. So I might as well do it now. Today we are doing the second character story of Nahida. I did the first one off stream a while back, like before I started doing character stories on stream. So yeah, we are gonna be doing the character story. Now this is no way connected to the new event. I just want to do this one because it also unlocks a weekly boss. And while I've been off, I will be streaming this event once all the days are out, which I believe they are, but I'm going to wait a little bit. It's going to be around for 37 more days, so I got time. That gives a new Kave outfit. Yeah, so we'll be doing this. Also, I will be doing these three as a separate stream. Homecoming. Interesting. Yeah, I had to avoid Mondstadt for a bit. So let's get into it. I'll show off stuff later that I've recently gotten.
Hey! Isn't that Nahida? Nahida! Paimon didn't think we'd run into you here! Oh, hey there! It's been a while, hasn't it? What have you two been up to?
Same old venturing and stuff, helping all kinds of people, the usual. Mining, fishing, TCG, and catching crystal flies.
Seems like you've been enjoying yourselves. How about you? What are you up to now? I'm just looking out for some leads while getting some fresh air. I noticed that I have some blurry memories after saving Ermin's soul. I almost feel like there's still something extremely important I need to do. But I can't remember what it is. Why is that?
Also, I'm gonna show something once I open the map.
Don't worry, we'll help you remember.
I wonder if this is gonna... I don't think this is gonna reference Ruka Devakta, but who knows.
Thank you so much. Since you're willing to help, I have something I'd like to show you. Ooh, it's beautiful. It looks like it's filled with some kind of power. I found it in the sanctuary of Suristana, but I have no recollection of it whatsoever. It's filled with pure elemental power that is quite similar to mine, but yet it's also a little different.
Ruka Devakta?
It's very likely that it's connected to my foggy memory, but I can't figure out what it is.
Something that Greater Lord Ruka Devakta left behind. But what's with her foggy memory? Yeah, isn't her memory supposed to be fused together? Like, she's supposed to have Ruka Devakta's memories, but she sees them as herself and not Ruka Devakta.
Traveler, do you have any ideas?
Who just followed me? Thank you for the follow, Aim Mega. I'll just call you Mega. Nice to meet you. Right now, if you can't tell by my title and tags, I am doing the second character story of Nahida here. This unlocks like a new weekly boss that you can do.
You know, Nahida, we just happen to be going on an adventure right now. If we find anything, we'll be sure to let you know right away. Thanks, you two. I didn't mean to trouble you again. Don't mention it. Besides, it seems you've got a lot on your mind, and we'd like to help.
Oh, hey.
Hey, get out! You shouldn't be around here!
Calm down.
I'm sorry, Lesser Lord Kusanali. Fungi don't usually come near this place. Last warning! Get out before I kick you out, you hear?
Hang on. I think it's trying to tell us something.
But Great Dendro Archon, it's a monster!
Please, don't worry. I think I understand. Seems that it wants us to follow it. You can understand it? Mm-hmm. Even though different creatures have varying habits and ways of communicating, the emotions we experience are all the same. I can feel its anxiety and fear. It's in dire need of our help. Well, fungi are kinda cute, but...
I was waiting for them to stop talking. How's my day? I just woke... Well, I woke up not long ago. But so far it's been fine. Also, like, it's not the first time we run into friendly fungi. Also, she's the Dendro Archon. Of course she's gonna understand creatures from her area.
That's true. Okay, let's go take a look. Alright, lead the way, little fungus. Although they all look about the same, some fungi are friendly, while others are super aggressive and attack anyone they see. It can't be helped. Perhaps in their eyes, humans are like fierce monsters as well. After all, they can't distinguish which human behaviors are hostile or not, and it'd already be too late for them once humans have drawn their weapons. Hence why they tend to strike first, rather than waiting. They're the motions.
If there's a lag there, I apologize. I don't know what's causing it, but the ping in the fact that it keeps fluctuating is worrying. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Okay, maybe it's fine now? Make it easier. Okay, I'm just more worried about I don't want stream cut out because you cannot replay these cutscenes. Unlike some games, you can't replay these, so yeah. Okay, so since I'm about to follow this fungus, before I do that, I want to show something. So this is Sumeru. From here to all the way to here is Sumeru, right? If it lagged for you, it lagged for me too, so it might have been on my end, because it buffered for me as well, because I have it up on a different screen. But yeah, all of this is Sumeru. The desert, this is the biggest region so far, because Leeway is the end of the chasm, all the way to here with Dragonspine. Okay, Dragonspine is part of Mondstadt, if you actually look. And this is Mondstadt. And then down here in Azuma is these 6 islands. Right? Together, they're probably small. They're actually probably smaller than Leeway, if you actually combine the landmass. Wait, what's your name on Discord? Or did you just randomly like tune in, or are we in the same like a server together? Oh, okay. I don't know if I've seen. I don't know if I don't think I've ever talked to you. I don't know. But nice to meet you. Yeah. Back to. Okay. That happens. Everyone gets busy sometimes. Okay. Back to what I was saying real fast. Also, I don't know how this. I find it funny that this is upper and this is lower. But yeah, turns out these are leaks, but it's most likely true. At this section here is how we're getting the fontaine. That's why I put this marker here, because in 4.0, this connects to like the first like port to Fontaine, which now makes sense why there's the coast here. So yeah, Fontaine's probably gonna be added. This is like the first section where it's added, which now makes sense why they added this area. Which is also weird, because the original idea that people thought is, since Fontaine's also connected to Leeway, people thought we were gonna be entering Fontaine through here. Like, there's a village here, apparently, and it's supposed to lead to Fontaine. From what I saw in the pictures, Fontaine, so far from, like, the main, I think, like, the 4.0 and 4.1 update, I'm not sure, is going to take up this section of the map. But it's speculated that it's going to be bigger than Sumeru. And Sumeru is pretty damn big. Like I said, from the chasm on is Sumeru. So, that means if it's connected here, and it's over here, that it's also, story-wise, it's mentioned that it's connected to Leeway. Well, I don't know if it's story-wise connected, but, like, it's supposed to be connected to Leeway. That means it's going to go from up here all the way to here. I don't know if this section itself is going to be part of Fontaine. I don't think so. It'll probably either be part of Leeway or Mondstadt. But this section here is also going to connect to Fontaine. So all of this here is going to probably be Fontaine or water. That also brings up the interesting fact is that there's a little island here, and I believe I've heard, I don't know if this is true, this is not a leak, this is just something I've heard, but this area here, on Mondstadt, up here, it might be Snezhnaya, the cryo area. I might be wrong on that, but that's why, like, this island is not complete here. And then apparently down here, which this makes sense because it's a desert. Down here is going to be the Pyro Nation. But that, like I said, that's mainly speculation. Those last two are speculation, but the leaks have shown that we're going to Fontaine here. The main city of Fontaine's gonna be here. There's gonna be a few ports that you can go to, and then it's either this section here is gonna be mostly mountains and water, and then eventually it'll connect all the way up to here. It's not underwater, surprisingly. Sort of. It's partially underwater and not at the same time. Like, in the trailer, if you look at the 3.8 special program, go all the way to the end of it, they actually show Fontaine City. I don't think it's actually called that. It might be called that. But it actually shows your character swimming. As it shows your character swimming, shows you as Hydro. So, yeah. I recommend looking at that. And, like, there's going to be a new swimming, diving mechanic, and you can attack underwater. But, yeah. So, I find it interesting. I wonder if, like, this section of mountain is probably going to be moved away. Or, like, it's just gonna let us go through here, and then go in the Fontaine. Also, if you go to the top of, let's see, this mountain, you can, and look in this direction or so, you can actually see a faint light of, like, where a statue of the Seven would be. I don't know if it's still there. They might have patched it out, but yeah. Also, a neat little trick to find out where the next nation is going to be, even before they say it in game, is, let's see if I can. I don't know if I can see it from here. I doubt I can. Yeah, I can't see it from here. I'll have to climb. I might have to also wait. Oh, wait. Also, I'll progress the story and then I'll mention what I have been doing since, last time I streamed this. Oh. Interesting.
It appears it was in a hurry because of this unconscious fungus. Looks like they might be family. So maybe this fungus wanted to bring Nahida here to help its family member. Probably. Although fungi are simple creatures, they're very sensitive to elemental power. Maybe it noticed me on my way back and thought I'd be able to help. I'll take a look. I should be able to help if it's just a common illness. What is it, Nahida? Strange. Very strange. This fungus didn't develop from a spore. It's an elemental life form. Huh? An elemental life form?
Like a slime.
Yes. Although the fungi you normally see are capable of using elemental powers, they're merely borrowing elemental power from nature around them. As for this fungus, it has elemental power flowing through it. Definitely not anything like your typical fungus. Exactly. This is very interesting. I've never seen anything like it. So this is a first even for Nahida. But that's not all. There's a large void within its elemental power. The void is stopping the elemental power from flowing normally, which must be why it fainted. So do you think it'll wake up if we can fill the void? Yes, and I just so happen to be good at this sort of thing. I'll see what I can do right away.
Shouldn't we do it, since we don't need a vision?
My power was compatible. Looks like everything is fine now.
Lord of Dendro? Is it really the Lord of Dendro? Oh, I can't believe the Lord of Dendro saved me. Thank you, as well as the stranger and creature next to you.
Ah! It can talk?
About to say.
I didn't expect such a strange creature to make a sound like that. Seems I'm just as shocked as you are.
What? Of course Paimon can talk. Paimon isn't a strange creature. Paimon's just... Paimon!
I understand, Mega. I was gonna... Wait. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm gonna say it anyway. If you have data, I recommend maybe using that. If you're still here. And if you can hear me. But if you can't, that's understandable.
Hello, Paimon. I am not yet able to evaluate an organism's intelligence from its appearance. I will only know you are able to speak once you have spoken.
Oh, well, no need to take it seriously. It's no big deal. But does Paimon really look so dumb that people might think Paimon doesn't know how to talk?
You misunderstand, Paimon. A mouth is used for eating, breathing, and other functions that are more important than speaking. So a creature may not speak, even if it has a mouth. I've never seen a creature like you before, so I dared not make the assumption that you could speak. Even if you do possess a number of human traits, it is still very common for creatures to have similar external forms, but completely different interiors. Just like fungi and slimes.
Did this fungus study at the academia? It seems even more talkative than Paimon. You're not a fungus, are you?
That's correct. This might be surprising to you, and I'm sure that you must have questions. Let's find somewhere else to talk. It might startle my fellow family members if I speak too much using this strange voice. Me, me, me. Me, me. It says that it's very thankful for your help.
Interesting.
I was confident that I knew of all the creatures in Teyvat. Even if there are ones I've never seen with my own eyes, I thought I possessed all the relevant knowledge about them. However, even if I were to lay out the traits of all elemental life forms, you don't seem to match any of them. What are you? And where did you come from?
I come from an ancient race. We have existed for a very long time, possibly longer than any records in existence. My home was filled with flowing water and great mountains. Lush grass covered the land, and my family and I lived in bliss and happiness.
I think these are the seals? I don't know what they're actually called. Pronounced. But the Seele seals? I don't know. I think these are the ones that you see in that new section of the desert that's up top. Because the form here looks very similar to that.
Until the apocalypse came and changed my home forever.
Oh god.
A horrifying power consumed all there was. The seeds of catastrophe nested and grew inside of us, twisting and warping us, causing us to lose control. We were victims of the apocalypse, yet in time, we also became the apocalypse itself.
The apocalypse? I'm not sure what it means either. It sounds like some kind of old fable.
It's a long and complicated story. It will take me some time to explain it clearly.
Don't worry, we'll listen. Please continue.
I was lucky and managed to survive. Afterward, I left with some of my family and came to Sumeru to search for a way to rescue my homeland. We came in contact with many species and learned from their cultures and knowledge, hoping to understand the truth behind the apocalypse. We later found out that humans know the power of the apocalypse and refer to it as forbidden knowledge.
They're not supposed to know that. And what I'm talking about is back in the Sumeru, our conquest, we kinda sealed the forbidden, we kinda, destroyed the knowledge of forbidden knowledge. I.e., when we brought Nahida to Irminsul, she erased Rukkhadevata, and Rukkhadevata was the last known being to know the forbidden knowledge. And that repaired Irminsul. But the fact that she knows about it, or it knows about it, that's kind of concerning. Because that could potentially bring the Withering back.
Your home was destroyed by forbidden knowledge? Does that mean you're from the desert? It's said that they are looking for a way to save their homeland, but the catastrophe of the desert should have ended a long time ago.
The Lord of Dendro is correct. We are not from the desert. I would very much like to tell you the location of my homeland, but unfortunately, I've forgotten. That may sound a little odd, as it is very important to both me and my family.
Yes, how could you forget?
I am a life form that was contaminated by the apocalypse. A part of my knowledge and memory was taken away as the contamination inside of me was purged.
Oh, I think okay, that makes more sense now. That the contamination inside of it that was purged, that's when Nahida erased Rukkhadevata and Irminsul was saved. I think that's possibly what happened.
Ah, I get it now. So the void of elemental power was left behind from when the forbidden knowledge was purged. I'm sorry. I hadn't considered that kind of possibility.
That's okay. Lord of Dendro, there is no need to apologize. Without your help, I would have lost more than just my knowledge and memory. And not only did you save me, but you've also already rid the world of the remaining forbidden knowledge, right?
That's right. The forbidden knowledge is no more, and your homeland should be safe now.
My home should be safe now. We can go home. For the longest time, this moment has only seemed like a dream. I never knew it would become a reality so quickly. I was unable to fulfill our calling. I never found a way to save my homeland, and I have even forgotten where it is.
It's not your fault. You've already done everything you can. Every species paid a grave price in the fight against forbidden knowledge. This is not a responsibility you should carry on your own. You mentioned that there were other survivors besides yourself. Where are they? Maybe they'll remember.
The apocalypse put us through immense pain. Many of my family members have already met their end. I'm not sure who else is still alive.
Don't worry, I should be able to find them. Just leave it to me. I'll leave the rainforest to the Aranara. And as for the city, there are a few nice kids that should be willing to help. Oh yeah, they'll give us a hand. Give me a moment. I'll contact them right now.
She says kids, but in reality, though, they're grown-ass adults. And I'm guessing she means I'll hate them, Kaveh, maybe Kaveh, Nilu, possibly Tainari, and Sino. And then, the Aranara did that world quest a while back.
That should do it. It may take some time to find them, so let's wait for a bit.
Thank you, Lord of Dendro. We all believe that you will keep your promises. The moment I saw you when I awoke, I had a feeling you were here because of the agreement.
Agreement?
You might not remember, but this is a prophecy that we deeply believe in. That the Lord of Dendro will bring us home once the catastrophe comes to an end.
Ah, I see. I'm sorry. There are also some blurry segments in my memory as well.
I just hope this is not a being from, I don't think it's a being from Conria, but who knows.
But I'm very concerned about your homeland. This is something I should help with. It's really no trouble to me at all.
Would you all be willing to come with me somewhere as we wait? The more family members that can return home with me, the better.
But didn't you say that you don't know where they are?
Yes, but I know their end. I will explain it to you along the way.
Homecoming. Long intro for it. Okay, so I might as well fill you in on what I've been doing since last stream. I've recently pulled Diluc, and he's now level 60 like some of these other ones. I've been also grinding them up. I've gotten him to level 60 because there was a thing to get a Animo character to level 60. I don't think I pulled anyone else besides I think I pulled like an extra character of someone, but I don't remember who. Maybe her? Yeah. Facial. Farzan. I've been doing some character hangouts. Also been pulling some swords, like I have the sacrificial sword now. I crafted these two swords. Or I crafted this sword, I had this already. I've now switched over to have the PlayStation sword on because this sword is literally for the traveler in a way. So I don't give this to someone else. Claymore wise, I've recently pulled the sacrificial claymore. I've been pulling copies for this, and now it's at rank 5, funny enough. Cracked this. Cracked this, got this. I got, of course I got the vent bow, and I have it on Farazan. Crafted this, and this will eventually go to Tainari. So this bow can go to Ganyu. I crafted this. So now I have polearms, extra polearms just in case. I've gotten more artifacts, even though these are not the proper artifacts for these characters. I've gotten some more over time. Let's see. I've done the world quest for this area, since this place is now exposed. And the robot that used to be all the way over here is now over here. And I got the waypoint to the oasis. I done the world quest here with the what's her name? I forgot the Solace. So this area is cured, and I can go underground. I got the pond unlocked. There's now a tree. Instead of two opposite forces clashing in the sky, there's now a tree there, like a element tree. So that's there. Also, I have fought this guy once, and I beat him. But yeah, that's what I've mainly been doing, and that's what I've gotten done since last time. I've also gotten a world quest that involves this robot, which will probably unlock the last teleport point once I get the world quest done. Because there's like a teleport point here, but I can't find it. Also, I'm Geo because I don't really use Geo too much, so I might as well.
There's something that I'm very concerned about. Yes. I didn't mention it just now, but do you remember when I told you that the power in the crystal is very similar to mine, yet also different? The elemental power inside the crystal is completely identical to that of the fungus. What? Exactly. The prophecy that it mentioned was probably an agreement that I made with an elemental life form that once represented its race. I had to deal with the forbidden knowledge to save their homeland. The process, however, took away some of my memories. that sequence of events would explain the persistent feeling that I had unfinished business.
Makes sense. Too bad it's unable to tell us more.
Yeah, I've been trying to think of a place that fits the description of its homeland, but I'm unable to come up with anything. Agreed. I really want to send them home, so they won't have to wander around anymore.
Also, I've been like leveling up the different forms of the Traveler that we so far
The road
have.
here is a little rough. I'll lead the way.
The talents,
Don't
I mean.
worry, Paimon can handle any road! Ah! Enemies! You're up, Traveler!
You are not welcome here.
Ow.
Emerge. Let's get it on!
No more tricks up your sleeve. To dust.
Gotcha.
Show them. Right here.
To drop the rock on their head.
With such skills, you all would have definitely been able to find a way to survive the apocalypse.
Hey! Paimon has been meaning to ask. You all didn't originally look like this, did you?
No, we didn't. The appearance of our kind will change according to the environment. After communicating with various living organisms in Sumeru, we discovered that fungi are the life form most adapted to live in these lands. Thus, we gradually took the form of fungi and became a part of their group.
It's hard to believe that's even possible.
The most important instinct any life form possesses is adapting to the environment. I don't think that should surprise you, Paimon. Your hand is shaped like that for a reason, so you are able to grip and use tools more easily. The reason why fungi absorb elemental power is to blend with the environment and fend off natural predators. We are Dendro life forms, one of the most ancient life forms in this land. That is why we are so adaptable.
So you mean, if Paimon wanted to, Paimon could change into a different form as well?
Is that a
Not
tease?
as freely, I'm afraid. You would require a long time to make that happen. Although this is common sense to us, it is still extremely difficult to explain. Putting it as simply as possible, changing form requires energy, and energy comes with time. You cannot make a sprout grow into a giant tree instantly, nor can you force a tree to bear fruit overnight.
I see. Humans have a term for this. It's called growth.
Ah, you're so smart, Nahida! Paimon gets it now!
Also, there's been like I just remember there's been like times where I'm like, I can't wait until we run into the sibling again, because God, I'm like, if I was Aether, that's his real name. Geez, there's so much I would say and question, because I get she was Lumine was corrupted in some form, but there's so much that, like, doesn't make sense. Like, how she got to Inazuma if she's already traveled all the nations. Why didn't she help the people of Sumeru or Inazuma? And why, and like, yeah, there's like so many questions I have for the sibling character. And I say that because technically, if anyone's playing this and playing the Lumine instead of Aether, it's the opposite.
Growth. I see. Yes, then this is what you would call growth. A most beautiful word. I shall enjoy it more as we walk.
Where are we, anyway? Oh, I was wondering, like...
How much farther is it?
Like I said...
We're about halfway there. You're doing great, Paimon. Do you need me to carry you on my back?
Huh? Oh, no! Paimon was just curious. Paimon isn't that tired.
You seem to enjoy taking care of others.
You think so? Does the Lord of Dendro need to be carried?
That would be awkward, wouldn't it? Why don't you fly up and sit on top of my head?
We can figure out who will carry who later! We have monsters here!
There's something I was gonna mention. I forgot what it was.
Smash!
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh.
Look alive! Ha! Yeah. Gotcha.
I think we may have a different understanding of carrying someone. No matter whether it's tired or not, my child is always happy when I put it on my back and give it a ride.
Child? You mean the fungi we ran into earlier?
Yes, one was my friend, and the other was my child.
Why can't your kid speak?
Because it's just a fungus. I don't want my presence to change or affect the original state of the fungi species here. However, it is slightly different from an ordinary fungus. It seems to understand some human language, so I gave it a name.
Oh, then it must be a really cute name. You know, like Bongo Head.
That's
You have an odd taste for names.
That's actually a reference to a event a while back that when we first met Lila. I missed that event, but it happened.
Huh? Paimon thinks that name is great.
Strange and cute at the same time. It's a name only Paimon would be able to come up with.
That's right.
The name I came up with was not as creative as Paimon's. I learned it from an adventurer. Its name is... I'm sorry, but I've forgotten. Seems like I've forgotten many important things.
Also, that reminds me, I hope... So, in the R&R quest, there's a character named Rana. And she got Dendro vision at the end of it. But it's been stated... There's been a few things stated. Raiden A noted... Or, there hasn't been any, like, new... Electrovisions given out recently. I don't know if this is connected to the Gnosis or what, but Raiden A has mentioned that she doesn't really... She's not the one that picks, and she's not the one that actually gives out the visions, which is interesting because that's always been the case. That's always been like what people have said. The Archons are the ones that choose and give out the visions. Which, that's what people thought when Wanderer got the Animo vision he has. And Rana got the Dendro vision. People thought Nahida gave her it. Which I hope when we see Rana again, she has a unique character design. Because she's like one of the only characters that we actually... NPC-looking characters that we've seen get a vision. So hopefully she gets like a design change and maybe a playable character. Because she's destroying the world right now. The other thing is... this is more of in-game. This is just more of game logic. This is not really story mentioned, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's story mentioned at some point. And actually, I don't think it has to do with the Gnosis, because Venti doesn't have his Gnosis, but Wanderer still got Animo Vision. But yeah, apparently, the last new Geo character is Yujin. There hasn't been any new Geo character since Yujin. And it's speculated that, and there won't be a new Geo character till like way later in Fontaine, like halfway through Fontaine, I think. And I think it's been speculated on that the reason for that is they're reworking Geo.
Yes, I must remember it before I return. It's just as important as my homeland. Yes, this way. We're almost there.
Why does it look like a withered zone? Also, there's a Gendroculus somewhere. It's a withered zone. I thought I took care of all of them already.
It's the withering.
Yes, I have heard humans also call it that before. It's the last form we take when we are at the end of our life.
Paimon doesn't understand.
It's trying to say that when they've suffered enough and reached the end of their life, they become a tumor of the withering.
Yes, I would have also suffered the same fate if it wasn't for the Lord of Dendro's help.
So, this is how the withering is formed?
Previous research has revealed that forbidden knowledge is the root cause of the withering. But even if forbidden knowledge has been completely removed, its influence still remains, which is why the withering remains even after forbidden knowledge has disappeared. They've been tormented by forbidden knowledge for a long time. It's understandable that they will eventually become the withering. But what a sad and pitiful end.
When I left my homeland, flowers like these filled the fields. Each bloom represented an individual life. They grew in the pristine lakes, in the fertile soil, in my home, and in the homes of my friends. They grew everywhere, until the world suddenly lost all its color and became tainted and murky. But it's all right. Our life essence, elemental power, still resides in this flower. After an adventurer clears the withering, I will quietly draw near the area. If I can sense the elemental power of my companions, then I take them with me.
But that would mean the effects of forbidden knowledge could have...
It's okay. That's not important anymore. I just hope that they can all make it back home. It's not right to leave them to simply perish in the open like this. Now that we finally have the chance to return home, each one I manage to bring back will make me that much happier.
I understand. Just leave it to us.
Also, I am curious what draws machinery to withered zones, because I noticed that machinery is always, like, almost always there.
So you're worried about me? It's fine. Forbidden knowledge doesn't exist anymore. It's natural to want to be overcautious when dealing with a highly venomous snake, but when all that's left is its skeleton, there's nothing to worry about.
Paimon doesn't get what you two are talking about, but we're all ready to go now, right? Then let's do this! We've dealt with the withering countless times already!
Am I able to play as Nahida here? Yep, I can. What has she got? So she got her signature weapon. She also had Braveheart, which I have those now. 3 of her things are leveled up. That's her talents. Speaking of which, this is... Without getting too into, like, the actual grind, this is as... I'm basically max talents until I can get this stuff. For Geo Traveler, but I'm still missing the last constellation. I maxed out Dendro and I believe Animo Traveler in terms of constellations, so they're both C6. I'm still working on Electro. I still need to max out the Leeway Tower of the 7, Dendro Tower of the 7, which is going to be a pain in the ass, and the Electro one. I'm not maxed out Mondstadt already. What level is she? 61. There's also a Dendroculus here somewhere.
Quietly now.
Oh shit.
Come on out. Right now.
Oh yeah, Nahida's whole thing is that when she uses her skill, it connects their damage. Like if you damage one, it'll damage all of them. That didn't work.
Show them. Come on out. Show them.
I see everything.
Okay. Aim this. Oh hey big boy.
Busted.
I know how to take care of you now. Ow! Asshole.
Make yourselves at home. Hey,
Quietly now. Come on out. Emerge. Nothing lasts forever.
As I expected, it's the last of my kind that I'm aware of. So it wasn't able to make it to the end. If only it could have held on just a little longer.
I hope that you will be free of this pain after returning home.
Just thinking about how many elemental life forms have turned into tumors of the withering makes Paimon sad.
It's okay. As long as elemental power still exists, then we will still be around. An external form is but a gift of time. Through growth comes change, and even abandonment of previous forms. However, our true nature is not so easily affected.
It wouldn't have come to this if we were able to cure them earlier. But I will cure all of them. Even if it's just for the sake of the rainforest and all the life forms that live in it.
Thank you, Lord of Dendro. It was a wise choice for us to place our trust in you and wait.
Hold on. I think I got something. Oh, I see. Okay, I understand. Thank you so much. So, they found a fungus that matches the description I gave them. It's currently unconscious.
It must be in a similar situation as I was. We should hurry and go take a look.
Okay, follow me.
My guess is that she's Aranara?
Don't tell me that's everything.
Let me look for the Dendroculus real fast. Oh, don't tell me. Aw, come on. If anyone knows how to do this, please let me know. I can't reach this one, and I don't know how to get to it. Besides possibly gliding from a very high area. Like, it makes it look like you can, like, get up there with that, but I don't know. Unless... I doubt this will work. Yeah, that didn't work. Yeah, I don't know how to get up there. So if anyone can tell me how to get up here, I appreciate that. Wait, going the wrong way. Wow, where is this? All the way up there? Are you kidding me? That's a turn. Also, since I'm playing this on PlayStation 5 now, unlike, similar to like a few previous...
We're close now. It's just a little further inside.
For, like, unlike like a few previous times I've seen this, the loading times are so much faster. It's so nice.
But there are so many fungi here. They're probably all ordinary fungi, right? Yeah, they won't be happy to see us.
No fighting. These are all its family. Although we belong to different species, we've spent a long time living among the fungi. They are very important to us. They can be reasonable, as long as we try to communicate.
What should we do? You're the only one who can make it through, right? But you'll need Nahida's power if you want to save that fungus.
She's also the
I've
Archon.
got an idea. Can you teach me how to change into a fungus?
What? The boy.
We want to transform into a fungus? But we don't have time for growth.
She's Archon.
Nahida is a god. Changing into a fungus should be a piece of cake for her.
Even gods can't bend the laws of time so easily.
Then
You'd
we'll
be
have to
surprised.
enter with the risk of being noticed. We may not be able to avoid a fight. But if spending some of my power will guarantee the safety of you and its family, then I'm willing to try.
All right. You have great elemental power, so you may be able to do it. You will have to use power equal to that which is required to break through the limitations of time. I will lend you the relevant knowledge that I have. It should make your transformation process a little easier.
Alright, I'm ready. Changing into a fungus should be quite an interesting experience.
Sure would
Lord of
be.
Dendro, this is nothing to joke about. I am extremely serious about this.
As am I. I'm not joking at all.
Alright! Let's not get hung up here. If it's really possible to turn into a fungus, then why don't we give it a try now?
Okay. Good luck, Lord of Dendro.
Wow! You really turned into a fungus!
It's actually not too bad. My perspective in this form isn't much different from usual. The unconscious fungus is just below here. Can you all help me determine which one it is?
I kind of wish it made, instead of like the same fungus, I kind of wish they made a separate model that's like green. To tell the difference.
Oh, how do we do that?
Elemental sight.
I'll get close to them while you make your way over from above. You should be able to identify them using elemental sight since they're elemental life forms. Then, all you have to do is repeat the correct answer in your mind. As long as I'm able to see you, then I'll be able to hear your answer.
Okay, got it.
Let me lure away the fungi up top and make way for you.
Alright, good luck, Nahida. Let's go, Traveler.
There's a fungus on patrol in the center there. It looks pretty vigilant, so I'd better go around it. Why is it reacting like that? Uh-oh, the fungus on patrol noticed me. Nah.
Oops. What the hell? This is gonna be weird.
There's a fungus on patrol in the center there. It looks pretty vigilant. It seems they didn't notice me. It seems that fungus won't be moving for the moment. I should hurry and make my way through.
It's so weird. There's the down one, I think.
This is the spot. There are several fungi here. I'll hide and wait for the traveler to catch up.
That's so weird. Yep, thought so. I knew that one was it. I mean, it's literally on the ground.
So this is the one. Understood.
Nahida? What's wrong?
I never knew that it was so tiring to change forms like that. I even used the techniques that it taught me. Seems like its warnings were not unfounded.
The power of time accumulates slowly and goes unnoticed. A great price is to be paid if you wish to perform drastic changes instantly. Thank you for everything you've done. All seems to have gone according to plan. Now, we simply wait for it to wake up.
Who are you? I apologize. Language is not easy. Need long time.
It's okay, I have good news. Let me explain it to you the Fungi way.
Apocalypse ended? Go home now?
Yes. Unfortunately, I've forgotten where home is. I was hoping you still remembered.
I remember. Really? That's great! Home, Dendro Dragon.
Oh god. I was wondering how it was gonna lead into this.
Dendro Dragon. Ah, yes! The Dendro Dragon! I'm sorry, I just got so excited. I've probably never expressed such emotions before. But yes, our home is the Dendro Dragon.
Oh, wait a minute. Hyman's confused. Do you mean the Dendro Dragon as in an elemental dragon? Like Dvalin?
Probably. This is the boss I was talking about. Also, I think the serpent counts as the dragon for Inazuma. And the leeway dragons, the one is that one that's in Zhongli's character story that ends up becoming a weekly boss. That actually reminds me. So, there was a elemental, or not elemental. So the spikes that is in Dragonspine and in the Chasm. There was one in Sumeru, and it was around the Eternal Oasis. But I don't know what happened to it, but the remnants of it being there are still there, i.e. there's a branch that is the same type of branch that that's in the Chasm and at Dragonspine. The weird thing is there's not really a branch anywhere in Inazuma, but there should have been a spike somewhere there. Unless it got destroyed when the people destroyed the Thunder Manifestation. So I'm not sure, but maybe that's what happened.
Yes, they're both dragons, but Apep, the Dendro dragon, has been around for longer and has accumulated dense elemental power.
Damn.
But I don't quite understand. Why would you say that your homeland is a dragon?
Also, apparently Dragonspine, the reason it's called that, I didn't realize this. I honestly thought this dragon was still alive, but this Durlin, I don't remember the actual name of the dragon, but the dragon that was made at the same time Albedo was, is the dragon that the bones are from in Dragonspine. So, that kind of tells you the dragon's dead, sadly.
Because we live inside the Dendro dragon.
Well, your elemental power, so it makes sense.
Dendro dragon. Inside. Very big. Mountains. Water. Trees. Us.
There is an entire world inside the Dendro dragon's body. The Dendro dragon nurtured the earliest life forms and protected us inside of itself. It once told us in a majestic voice that once we finally matured, we'd be able to start life in a new world. However, that day never came. Our homeland was the greatest place there ever was before the apocalypse arrived.
Paimon's still confused.
Yes, a very good example. It appears that you're much smarter than Paimon. The only difference is that the Dendro dragon is much, much larger than any Dendro slime.
Well, yeah, of course.
Wait, then if that's the case, doesn't that imply that Apep has also been contaminated by forbidden knowledge?
Yes, that is correct.
Apep is the dragon's name, apparently, but, like, also, I'll mention this later once we get to it, but there's something coming up that's very intimidating.
What has suddenly made you look so worried, Lord of Dendro? I haven't seen this expression on you before.
Apep is the most adaptable life form in the world. The forbidden knowledge should have become a part of its body a long time ago. Which means that if all the forbidden knowledge has been eliminated,
And a big void will also form inside the dragon!
I'm afraid so. Its body and soul have probably been in terrible shape for some time now. No wonder I haven't seen Apep for so long. But how did it get contaminated? Was it due to the destruction of King Deshret's civilization? But anyway, Apep disappeared and has been gone ever since that time. It's been enduring unimaginable pain all the while. It's probably in pain as we speak. Yes! How could I have forgotten? If the Dendro dragon fails to hang on, the elemental power inside it will no longer be able to maintain its form, and will all be dispersed. Dendro elemental power of that concentration will cause the rainforest to overgrow. Giant trees will completely block out the sun. Plants and humans will fight over oxygen. Sumeru will no longer be suitable for sustaining life.
Calm down.
Hey, what about the crystal? them and see if they know anything about it.
Yes, I'm sorry. You're right. We don't have time to panic. Have you two ever seen anything like this before?
No.
Its power feels very familiar. Like something from our homeland, but I don't know what it is.
Also, that one was very
I'm sorry
blunt.
our memories aren't very reliable.
It's okay. I'll contact my helpers just as I did before and see if they can locate your other family members.
I feel like
I'm counting on you all. Your info is crucial to us now.
I'm guessing they're talking about she's talking about the Aranara, I think.
Let's wait for their reply again, though I know waiting can feel unbearable at a time like this.
Thank you. Family bringing fruit.
I explained to them that you aren't hostile. After seeing you save it, its family is very grateful to you.
Go home. Leave. Hard decision. Don't know. They are weak. I worry. If waiting, then I hope.
Don't worry. I understand what you are trying to say. Family is very important to us, no matter when we were actually family. It has done a lot to protect this territory and can't help but worry now that it's about to leave. Can you do one last thing for it while we wait?
Of course, I can relate to how it's feeling. I need to organize my thoughts as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Tend soil. Food. Don't like plant invasion.
There are two things that it wants you to do. One is to look after the land that the food is grown in, and the other is to drive away the plants that are trying to invade the area.
Soil. There. First. Seed. Here. Paimon understood that. No need to translate. We'll take care of it right away.
I like that fungus dancing. Where? Oh, over here.
Leave. Worried. Want to stay. Preparation almost complete.
Should I grab this? I don't know if I should take this. I'll take it. It's for us, I think. That's a weird motion.
Thank you so much for your willingness to help. In the meantime, I'd like to tell it the things we experienced on the way here. Sharing knowledge is a habit of ours.
I can get up there. Make this faster. It's funny that you're technically looking out at, like, that's eventually going to be part of Fontaine at some point.
We planted all the seeds. It's time to handle the invading plant life.
I find it funny that we're doing this, like, on the edge of the map,
Take it easy.
where eventually, like, that is going to be Fontaine.
Wildflowers! It wasn't kidding when it said plants were invading.
Terra Smash!
Right here.
You know what?
Here comes the cash.
That should be all of them. That wasn't too tough.
Yeah, I've calmed down now. But it doesn't seem like there's too much we can do until we receive some new leads.
Can you tell us about the Dendro dragon? We don't know anything about it. Who is it? And what does it have to do with King Deshret?
Well, the history of dragons starts from the very beginning of Tevat. Sumeru was Apep's territory. In those days, the lush rainforest covered the entire nation.
Oh, so there was no desert back then?
Not at first. That came when a giant spike fell from the sky, turning a huge section of the rainforest into sand.
The giant spike being the thing I was talking about. And my guess, it hit where the cyclone is. It hit where the cyclone is. That's why I think that's why I believe that's why the glow is in the cyclone. And it turns that whole section into a desert.
In an attempt to adapt to its new environment, Apep changed color from the emerald green of the forest to the yellow of the sand.
No wonder those two elemental life forms are always talking about the importance of adapting.
Apep has always seen itself as the master of Sumeru, and has refused to recognize the new order that was established. Even now, it probably still holds great hostility toward the gods.
I'm actually very curious of how everyone reacted when, like, Dragonspine got hit with a spike. The chasm was hit with a spike, which is probably why the chasm was sealed off. And it's funny, the chasm didn't look like a chasm until, like, the chasm was added. Also, I wonder, like... And then, like, the spike that's in Inazuma, wherever it is, or if it still exists, where did that hit? Because I don't think anyone, besides her, that brought up those spikes before. Unless the spike was brought up in the Dragonspine event, which, if it was... Yeah, I missed that. Speaking of that, apparently they're trying to come up with a way. Hoyoverse is trying to come up with a way for people to get the limited time weapons that everyone has missed if they're a new player. Weapons like Albedo's main sword, and a lot of weapons that, like the bow from the TCG event. Stuff like that. They're trying to figure out a way for people to receive those weapons that missed it. And there's been apparently leaked new leaked menu character selection screen. So, and one of them and it actually showed Aoi from the Horizon character that's now in Genshin, that's still part of the world. It showed that they gave her a new animation as well, so maybe potentially we could begin her we could begin her again at some point, and maybe people will be able to see Sixer.
However, powerless against the power in the sky, and then the forbidden knowledge many millennia later, it's been unable to stir up any trouble. Conflicts between the two sides are destined to continue until a balance can be found.
Well, Venti became friends with the Valen. And besides the one dragon, the Geo Dragon has become has eroded over time. Its memories have eroded over time. But it was once friends with, Zhongling. Or Zhongli. I don't know if Raiden, or I don't know if A was ever friends with the serpent before cutting the serpent in half.
As far as I know, Apep had been slumbering in the desert, and King Deshret had taken a great interest in it. Maybe this is why Apep was contaminated. I'm not sure what may have led it to become involved, but rescuing it is definitely our top priority right now. The crystal that I have in my possession is probably the key that links the two matters together.
Getting Hydra is gonna be so nice. Also, I might as well show, I'll eventually unlock this outfit once I do the event, but I might as well show off the new outfit that's for Kaya. Yeah, you get this from the new event, which I will show, which I am gonna do, and I'm definitely gonna try to unlock those. This outfit's really snazzy. And a new outfit came out for Klee as well. Right there. It's a 4-star outfit, sadly. Not a 5-star, but it's definitely Alice related. Oh, Kaveh sent us something. Long time no see, I was planning on sending you something, so I wrote this letter. It's his birthday, I think, was yesterday? Or is it today? It's today. Heard you're traveling all over the world. That can't be easy. I recently bought several new varieties of coffee beans to try out at home. After we compared the taste of each, we decided this was the best. You'll find a bag of that variety attached to this letter, and I hope it'll raise your spirits in the days ahead. Life often seems as though it is a tapestry composed of undulating lines. But if it is at all possible, I sincerely hope the lines drafting out your future are stable lines, ascending upwards, safe travels. That's cool. I find it funny that they gift stuff on their birthdays. Like, how does that make sense?
Thank you, Lord of Dendro. Family happy. You really like them, don't you? Family like. Do you not like your family? That's not what Paimon meant. It's just that you guys aren't actually the same species. Does that matter? Family likes me. I like family. Paimon doesn't quite understand.
What it's trying to say is that as long as family members get along well, then nothing else matters. You place importance on appearances, but we do not. We find the experiences, knowledge, and connections we've made to be more important. These are all things that are more reliable than mere external appearances. These are the fruits of time, and the essence of what it means to grow.
Oh, Paimon gets it now. Looks can always change, so what's inside of us is more important.
Interesting life lesson there, because that's a common life lesson.
Paimon would still follow you around. Wait, would you not be able to recognize Paimon?
Oh? Understood. Thank you. Still nothing new from the forest. Seems like we won't be able to find your other family members for now. It appears we are out of leads to follow. And if no one knows how this crystal works, then Apep may be in danger.
Sorry.
It's okay. It isn't your fault. I don't think it's a coincidence that neither of you can remember anything about the crystal. Maybe it's because the crystal has a very close connection to forbidden knowledge, which causes memories of it to be unclear. And if that's the case, finding the other fungi still wouldn't help us at all.
The crystal and the apocalypse. The apocalypse and memories. Lord of Dendro, do you still remember the prophecy?
I do. What about it?
The prophecy is a story that connects events of the past and the future. A family member once said that the apocalypse is a part of us, and that there is value in preserving it. The rest of the family did not approve of its opinion at the time, so it left.
Preserving the apocalypse? Do you mean that there's still some that hasn't been eliminated?
That's not very likely. The power of Irminsul covers every inch of the land. Did the prophecy say where that family member went?
To the limitless depths east of Sumeru. A murky place that no one can return from.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that must be the chasm, right? But what is it doing there?
It's impossible to preserve forbidden knowledge, but what if it can be converted to a different form? I'm sorry if I'm suddenly not making any sense. However, I do think it's possible. Follow me. I'll explain it once we find that elemental life form.
Wait, what? What's stopping me from... That was weird. Oh, there's a Fontaine character in the city. I think this might be a new world quest that actually was added recently. You're unable to reach the destination. Please complete the world quest Perils in the Dark. Where the hell is that? Aw, don't tell me I have to freaking put this on hold. I don't even have this quest. Does it have to do with this one? Like... let's... Can I even go to the chasm? Maybe it'll let me still do it, even though I haven't done it yet. See, look, there's the crystal right there. Or there's the spike. Unable to reach the destination. But I'm literally at the destination. I guess we'll see what happens when I get over here.
So that elemental life form came all the way here on its own and spent a long time by itself? Wouldn't it already have become the Withering like the others?
Well, the Withering is only in Sumeru, it's not in Leeway, and technically the chasm's in Leeway.
There is a chance that it could avoid that end, using the power of something here. I'm referring to what was used to fight against the Abyss. It once repaired the rifts of Teyvat long ago. It has the ability to purify and stabilize powers that shouldn't exist in Teyvat.
Well, it did us hitting it, and with Yelan's help, caused it to hit the ground and made a portal to where the compass was. To, like, weird section where the compass was. And that kind of caused us to, get stuck there for a bit, but we can't return to that area anymore.
Forbidden knowledge that its light has shone upon is kept here forever in a different form. Yep. It's just like soap bubbles that rise to the water surface.
Another strange metaphor, but Paimon somehow gets this one.
What the Lord of Dendro means is that the apocalypse was altered by the power of the giant spike and hidden within the oozing filth.
Yes, and it shouldn't be far from here. Let's go and take a look.
If I can. It looks like I like how it said I couldn't reach the destination because I don't have the destination unlocked. Because I have to do a world quest, but it looks like I can go there just fine. And just in case, I'm gonna actually put something on, because if it has to do with the oozing filth, I'll probably need this thing. It's at level 6, so hopefully it's strong enough to deal with it. Maybe the world quest has to do with all that up there. But yeah. Down there used to be like the world quest. Or not world quest, but interlude that involved that introduced us to Yelan and Kuki. Have these was this here before? Oh god. Well, this is gonna be a fight.
It's over there! Looks like we'll have to clear out the oozing filth in this area. You two should be able to take care of it, right?
Yep, we know what to do.
Oops, I did not mean to cut her off. But maybe the abyss, maybe that quest, that world quest is a world quest I already did. Maybe it's the chasm one. That, of course, has the spike hit the ground. I don't know why it gave me the notification, even though I already did it, maybe. It's possible I already did it, because you technically need to do that before the interlude. You need to do that before the interlude, you need to do pretty much any world quest involving this spike. And plus, that's the first world quest that like teases a character that shows up in Archon quest. I don't think any other character did that. Or any other world quest has done that.
Show them, right now. Let's get it on! Hey!
Terra Smash! Huh.
Ow. That's the only thing I don't like is these damn wolves.
Quietly now.
That bleeding effect is so annoying.
Take it easy.
That texture is not rendered properly. Oh shit. There we go. How did that thing get all the way over here? How did that fungus get all the way over here in the leeway?
Gotcha. Come on out. Emerge, right now.
Oh, we finally managed to rescue it.
It should be the life form from the prophecy.
Also, it's been a while since we've been in the chasm.
That light.
Wait. Something dark is coming out. Something's not right! What's going on? Didn't Nahida say it was purified?
Maybe it's because such a long amount of time has passed. Although the power of the oozing filth is more stable than that of the apocalypse, it is still a form of dangerous power. It might have lost its mind after being soaked in it for such a long time.
Oh no! But we still have tons of questions we need to ask!
I should be able to purge it with my elemental power.
I am curious if... Did this spike cause the ooze? I don't think it did, but it might have. Or did something else cause the ooze? I actually completely forgot. Hence why I'm replaying on a different account.
But this is our only chance.
I said no and I mean it. Jesus, okay. I understand why you're doing this, but... I understand why you're saying this, but goddamn. We can't go through that again. Oh. So, Aether, what Aether means is pretty much we can't have Nahida. One, it'll restart the withering of Irminsul. Two, Nahida would have to erase her memories again. In order, well, erase a version of herself again, in order for forbidden knowledge to, not to stop forbidden knowledge and stop the withering of her soul.
Traveler!
It's okay. I trust your judgment. I was being a little hasty myself. Let's see if we can think of another way.
Oh, yeah! You said that the elemental power in the crystal was identical to theirs!
You want to use its power, but
yeah, I am curious what's going to happen when we reach Fontaine. In terms of, are we going to meet a friend of Alice's? Because actually... And the reason I brought that up is because a friend of Alice's talked to us during the Wanderer quest.
The Lord of Dendro seems hesitant. I too would advise caution. It's risky to use its power without fully understanding its intended use.
Don't understand! This no good, that no good. Save lives, important.
Yes, I understand. But this is our only chance to return home. We cannot afford to be careless.
it's okay. There's no need to argue. I'll think of something to do about the elemental power that will be used. How about this? Traveler, you could try using it. I understand that you have an amazing resistance to forbidden knowledge.
Plus, curing Irminsul didn't really affect us because we still have the memories of Ruka Devata and everything that Nahida forgot. Plus, we don't need a vision, and we can use elemental powers of multiple elements. Also, now that I remember, because I've been replaying it on a different account, yeah, the reason our traveler can use elemental powers is because our original powers were sealed away in somehow. I don't know if it's because of the unknown god or what.
Don't overdo it, Traveler. Paimon will be worried.
I can use Dendro, I can use... Oh, this is not pre-rendered. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I thought it was anime
Lord
cutscene.
of Dendro, and you others. How long have I been waiting here?
Yay! Looks like it worked!
The Lord of Dendro, here in person. Does that mean the apocalypse has come to an end? Wait, did you get smaller again?
I'm sorry. That portion of my memory is highly unreliable at the moment. I can't seem to remember who you are.
Again? What do you mean get smaller again?
That sounds about right. After all, the purpose of my existence is precisely for those unreliable memories you speak of. You once said that the apocalypse will be completely eradicated, and that relevant memories will become unstable. Even you couldn't promise that you'd remember our agreement after those events take place. However, you are definitely someone who stays true to your word. My sacrifice is nothing compared to your resolve.
You and I made the agreement?
Yes, you used your power to protect me. That is the reason why I was able to survive here. To be honest, I'm nearing my end. I had thought I'd be stronger than this.
Does he remember Ruka Devata? Like, does he remember the name Ruka Devata?
No one can withstand the power of the apocalypse.
In order to preserve a somewhat stable memory, I had to change the power of the apocalypse into a different form. Only the giant spike that fell from the sky was capable of doing something like that. But the moment I chose to go through with it is the moment I lost my chance of being rescued by the Lord of Dendro.
Is that what the fungus is? Or not the fungus, is that what the ooze is? Is that what the purple ooze is?
But enough about me. Lord of Dendro, let's get to the important matter at hand. As you can see, I won't last much longer.
I understand, and I'm sorry, but... Can you please tell me what this is?
This is a fire seed. It's an essential item for saving the Dendro dragon. Thankfully, it appears to be in good condition. The Lord of Dendro and our people created this item together. It mimics how the Dendro dragon's heart of Oasis operates. The Dendro dragon has been tormented by the apocalypse for far too long. It too is nearing the end of its power. However, if you are able to reactivate its heart of Oasis using the fire seed, then the Dendro dragon will begin to recover. And as a result, our homeland will return to the way it once was.
Oh, so the Heart of Oasis is a pep source of power.
No wonder the crystal was able to heal this fungus just now. That's what it's used for.
Also, I don't know if the serpent was the dragon of Inazuma, but if I'm wrong about that, I don't know what the dragon of Inazuma was then.
What? You used the fire seed to save me?
Also, I don't know, there's like a dragon I think for every nation, same with, there's a spike in every nation, but I don't know where the Inazuma one is.
Why? What's wrong?
That's... never mind. It's not your fault. You didn't know. The fire seed contains a high concentration of elemental power inside of it. It's very powerful, yet fragile at the same time. It is not stable in its current form. To prevent any accidents, please don't use it again.
Since I am its creator, I will take responsibility for it. I assure you there's no need to worry.
Alright. Aside from being able to heal the Dendro dragon, the fire seed can also resonate with the heart of Oasis. In other words, you'll be able to find the Dendro dragon by following the guidance of the fire seed. But you should hurry. There is little time to waste.
What about you?
Forget about me. You should hurry home now.
Everyone is returning home, including you.
As I told you, I've already lost my chance to be saved by the Lord of Dendro. Lord of Dendro, I thank you for coming to find me, and for being willing to save the Dendro dragon. Our past has been saved, and our future has been ensured. It's enough for me, just knowing that they will return home.
Hey, wait! It turned into oozing filth.
Can you use the Lumen Stone once more? I can still feel its elemental power. Please, of all of us, it deserves the chance to return home the most.
It's good to know that the Lumen Stone is actually mentioned here.
This is a small ball of light that it left behind.
I can feel it. I can feel its knowledge and emotions. It has all returned to its original elemental form and is becoming one with the other family members. Do not be sad, my friends. Its wish has come true, and it's very happy right now.
Because its external form doesn't matter, right?
Yes, because our external form does not matter, and our home has been saved. There is nothing more important than being together with family.
Let's go!
Home.
Before I do that, I'm checking something. So there's a few things I still need to do in this area. Like in the chasm is what I mean. There's a few, like, I don't know if I have to max out the Lumen Stone. But let me see this. Like this area here, I don't know if it's part of a quest or anything, but there's like oozing, there's like the oozing filth in some areas that I'm like, I wonder if I have to do something to like clear it. There's like some areas I haven't cleared yet in this area, so I need to figure out how to do that. See, because it's only at 58. Plus, some of the ways to get the upgrades for this Lumen Stone is a pain in the ass. Back to Sumeru. Damn, we are going all the way.
It's not much further. Follow me, we're close now.
Also, my goal is to try to upload this later today. So this either is gonna be on YouTube today or tomorrow. Also, let me heal Yelan here. Might as well do this, right?
Yeah.
Oh god, I just realized what I had to do here. Oh god, this is not gonna be easy. I feel bad for mobile players that have to try to do this. Climb the tree.
A reward on the road.
Taking that.
I can
Getting
feel
the hell
its
out of
power
here.
lingering and shifting around us. Sometimes it feels distant, but other times it seems close. This is its way of warning us. It has already noticed our presence.
Oh god, I think I know what's coming. What the hell is that? Wait, what is that? Oh. Jin power. Pretty much this little thing on me that's floating next to me. Oh. I think I see what this is. There it is. If I see a Dendroculus, I'm taking my chance to get it. Even though I haven't been really tracking them that well. Wait, where are we going? Okay. I think I know what's about to happen.
We won't be able to see anything if we keep going that way.
Oh, this is not pre-rendered. Didn't buy that MGO here.
Hey, look! Something's over there!
Hi, buddy. Holy shit, you're huge.
We found it. A pet, the Dendro dragon.
So, I want to state something funny about this. Two things. One, I've seen someone remove the sandstorm filter. It is just a flat picture, or flat thing. But, the look of this dragon is apparently bigger than the three-headed water dragon from Leeway, or whatever that thing's called. It's bigger than that water boss from Leeway that we fight two versions of in the interlude, the rebuild the Jade Chamber, and in the main Leeway Archon quest. This thing's bigger than that, for one. Of course, it's still smaller than the true form of the Geo Dragon, but this thing's pretty damn huge. It's bigger than the Volin, clearly.
I knew it would be big, but not that big.
Puny god, puny human, leave my domain. Frail life forms like you cannot survive in the endless sands of the desert.
You'll be surprised.
Apep, we're here to save you.
I do not need saving, especially not by you, Boor.
Boar. That's its other name. That's her other name. Like, A is Beelzebub, apparently. So, a theory, I think I mentioned this before, Teyvat is a layer of hell. This world is based on the layers of hell. One of the layers being, I can't think of the name now. Shit. Says the K. Damn it, we're pretty much the place that Dane's from. Apparently that's a layer, this is a layer, because each Archon, at least a version of the Archon's name, is a name is a devil name. I.e., apparently A is Beelzebub, even though no one calls her that. She has multiple names. Morax is apparently a demon name. Venti's a demon name. So yeah. Ball, yes, Ball is Raiden's name is Ball, like people call her Ball sometimes. And her name is Beelzebub, basically. So yeah.
You are no different from Amun. Both of you have only existed for a fraction of what you know as time. Yet you call yourselves lords of this land by leaning on the heavens' glow.
Amun? Who is she talking about?
You're better off paying attention to your path ahead, as you will fall where you've fallen before.
I know that you hate both gods and humans, but you've grown too weak now. Can't you let go of your hatred, even for only a moment?
Let go? For only a moment? Foolish boor. You will find no gratefulness from me, even if you heal me.
Also, yeah, Boor, or Boor. I'm guessing that's her demon name. Because I don't think Kusanali, Rukkhadevata, or Nahida are demon names.
You will only be reviving the dragon that will destroy Sumeru and the Seven Nations.
Yeah, I doubt that, because Sumeru is your Sumeru is your domain, so why would you destroy it? 2, why would you even try to destroy the Seven Nations? Because you might be a dragon, you might have lived a long time, but humans have evolved since then. A lot of people have visions now. Plus, you'll be up against 7 Archons that are probably stronger than you by now. If not 7, then at least a few, because Zhongling... And yeah, some of them have lost their gnosis, but they're still pretty strong, especially Raiden Shogun. Zhongli and... Well, I don't know about Ventur, but Falkner? Or Falker? Falkor, I think is her name. That's the Hydro Archon. She's pretty strong, and I'm pretty sure Nahida is weaker than she used to be, but still.
No, you're ill, that's all.
That I am. Time will bring death to all. It's unavoidable. Although I am gravely ill, my mind remains clear.
Is it?
I am different from the ancient dragons that came to terms with you.
Are you?
There's no need for this. There's no point in fighting. What we need is the truth.
The truth. The shackles that the God of Wisdom cannot escape from. I have paid dearly for the truth, and you shall do the same soon enough.
I wonder, again, they don't call her by Kusanali. They call her Boor, but they don't call her Kusanali or Rukkhadevata, so I wonder if the dragon, Pep here, even remembers Rukkhadevata. Like, there hasn't been any, like, proof to show that they still remember forbidden knowledge.
Hey, don't leave! Careful, something's coming.
Now what?
What is that?
What?
I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
It's our family.
Huh? They're your family too? But they don't look anything like fungi.
External form not important. Inner nature say.
Right.
The composition of their elemental power is identical to ours. In other words, they're residents of our homeland.
Is this what they've become after experiencing the apocalypse?
Conria. That's what... Conria is apparently a layer of hell. That's what I was trying to get to. And Irminsul is the tree. If you flip Teyvat upside down, that's why... That's the theory. I think Celestia is supposed to be a layer of hell as well, and I believe Irminsul is supposed to be the tree of hell or something. I don't know where this is. I don't know if this is from Dante's Inferno or something, but like the whole layer of hell thing. But Layers of Hell has been brought up a lot, especially when you think of the 7 deadly sins. Beelzebub, which I don't know if this really fits A's behavior, but Beelzebub is supposed to be gluttony. And I don't know if that really fits A. And I don't know Morax or Venti if they're supposed to be this. I don't know if each Archon is supposed to be each sin. And if they are, I don't know which each sin represents. Like, then, I know what each sin represents, but I don't know each sin's real name. Like, I didn't know Beelzebub was gluttony. So I don't know what Bior is, I don't know what Morax or Venti are. If someone likes to elaborate that, please tell me.
This is also a form of adaptation, although a most gruesome and pitiful one. Many of our family members never made it out of...
Is there any way to avoid fighting them?
Hey! Can you guys talk?
Not gonna let have those two talk to him.
They've given it their all just to survive.
They're being drawn by the fire seed. Only its power can temporarily free them from their pain. All that remains are the instincts to survive and search for energy needed to do so. Everything else has been discarded in the process of adaptation.
So this is the result of forbidden knowledge.
Would our world become the same if forbidden knowledge was allowed to rampage across Teyvat?
Jesus.
Like fish struggling on land, unable to find a single puddle of fresh water in the entire world.
Also, who knows what would have happened if the Soul did die.
Yes, but please try to be gentle with them. They are not evil in nature. All they want to do is survive.
I'll try my best.
Busted.
Interesting Dendro walls.
Show them right here.
Ow! It's eating me! It's a giant freaking clam!
Right now. Quietly now.
Stop eating me! Now I just have this guy to deal with.
Paimon thinks they used up all their strength. They don't seem aggressive anymore.
They want to go home.
Yes, it was never their intention to leave the Dendro Dragon.
Is there a way to make them revert to their elemental form? Years of torment is what turned them into their current state. Their external form has become their shackles. It seems only the Fire Seed or Epep's Heart of Oasis can save them. But it'll be risky if we use the Fire Seed again.
Correct. We cannot use the Fire Seed again.
Everyone goes home, not just us.
This is becoming quite the dilemma.
Let me think for a second. It's fine. Let's use the power of the Fire Seed. I can't bear leaving them in the desert like this.
She can't use her own powers or else she'll be corrupted by forbidden knowledge again. Possibly. It's a possibility. Or her powers won't work, I think.
Don't worry, the decision is on me. I'll take responsibility for whatever happens.
Shouldn't I use it?
It won't require much elemental power. I'm just worried that it'll become unstable. But as long as I use my elemental power to stabilize it a little, it shouldn't be a problem.
Thank you. Sorry. Stubborn.
Thank you, Lord of Dendro.
Returning home is the most important thing to you. I've come to understand that during our travels. I'm not doing this just to protect you, but also because I hope to use you and your experience and try speaking to a pep again. After all, that giant Dendro dragon is also your family. Maybe it would listen.
I will stand with you, Lord of Dendro. I will never forget your kindness.
Yes!
Thank you. Alright, here it goes.
Family. We will all be able to go home soon.
Whoa. It's shining now.
Oh, what the hell?
Endless amounts of knowledge and emotions are moving inside of me. They're all very excited. To imagine such growth could be achieved in such a short period of time.
It's because you're carrying everyone's hopes and dreams.
Yes, finally, we can go home.
This is the last part. Let's go.
I forgot how long character stories usually take. I think this is the longest so far. Now I find this interesting because... Oh, wait. Okay, we're still going into the new area. Because this story was added at the same time the new area was. And it's funny enough that this... I don't know if this cave was blocked off before due to this area not being added yet. But the giant robot does stop here during the world quest. The hell spotted me? Now I don't have Nahida, so I don't know what... I think I'll end it on Deluxe since he's my newest character.
Terra Smash!
Yeah, this is gonna lead into the new area. I'm guessing this area was, like, you could go into the tunnel, but a certain section of the tunnel was blocked off since I believe the map stopped here before, and this path didn't exist. I always love seeing the, like, before and afters, because the before and afters are so interesting when it comes to, when the map gets updated over time. Because I'm eventually going to take a screenshot of what's over here before Fontaine's added. Because I hope people have recorded, like, before and afters of when each section of the desert was added. And like maybe before the chasm was added, before the dragon spine was updated, the different sections of Inazuma, if each section was added later. Sumeru. Because I think the game started with Leeway and Mondstadt.
This cave is huge. Could this be where the Dendro dragon lives?
That's the light. I remember people were guessing where this light led. When this desert was originally added, I think you could go up to that light, but you couldn't go any further. Maybe you can now, and that leads into the character story.
Yeah. Who knows what's inside that cave?
Our goal is not only to find the dragon, but to also enter the world inside of it. That will be impossible if we can't get it to cooperate with us.
But how are we gonna do that? It doesn't seem to want to help at all.
I'll see what I can do. Pep, I know we don't see eye to eye, and that we have a very different understanding of the world and its orders. However, we are both born of elemental power, and both suffered the torment of forbidden knowledge. We are not that different. And right now, we share a common enemy. We should not let our differences get in the way.
Wonder if the Dendro Dragon's even willing to listen.
I don't care about what you believe in, who you hate, or what you've done in the name of hatred. Nor do I expect you to be grateful. I'm here to save both you and your people. My people. They've been searching for a way to save you ever since they left their homeland. They yearn for a chance to return home. And now that everything is over, all the hatred that you harbor has lost its meaning. Rather than continuing to fight, you should consider the life you've produced.
Void.
No response.
Your eagerness to survive means that you haven't given up on that world yet. If you claim to know so much more than I, then why don't you truly think about why you want to survive? And why you're so vengeful? Please keep everyone safe. And send us to the homeland.
Nahida, where are we? Huh? And what about the Traveler? Where'd he go?
I was only able to ensure that we made it here safely. It's possible we arrived at different locations.
This is an interesting combination.
Well, then let's go have a look up ahead. Paimon's feeling really worried.
Yep, let's go. I wouldn't worry too much. The Traveler's no pushover.
Paimon knows that. It's just that Paimon isn't used to not having the Traveler around.
I mean, in the Sumeru quest, she freaked the hell out when I disappeared once when I tried to escape the fake Sumeru City.
Let's hurry. He might be just up ahead.
Am I on the ground unconscious? Oh, I'm Nahida. Oh, that's so weird. Oh, I can't pull up the menu. I can't attack or do anything. Interesting. Oh, wait. Was that a barrier? Okay, that's a barrier. And now that I've entered it, I can't leave it. So, that was out of the map, technically. Oh, don't...
What's that?
That should be the heart of Oasis. All we need to do is light it with the fire seed, and it'll restore a pep with elemental power. The damage it suffered internally will also slowly begin to heal.
Then let's hurry and light it! We still need to find the Traveler!
Alright, hang on.
Wait! The fire seed! What happened?
It shattered. It was even more unstable than I expected.
But why? We barely used it!
I'm not sure. Perhaps the fire seed was only capable of protecting one person? But if I didn't use its power on everyone, there's no way of knowing where you could have been sucked into. And even if that's the case, there's no reason for it to simply shatter, unless...
Also, protect one person. There's two people here. So that doesn't make any sense. Because how would it protect both Nahida and Paimon?
Unless what?
Unless I was already in a weakened state when I created this fire seed. Which would be when we had first saved the desert.
Oh no.
Yeah, when she turned herself into when she went from Ruka Devata to Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Wait, let's put that aside for a moment. If the fire seed has shattered, wouldn't that mean we came all this way for nothing? Oh, do you know what we should do now, Nahida? Oh, come on, Paimon, think!
I think the elemental beings are gonna sacrifice themselves.
Don't worry, Paimon. This is my responsibility. The fire seed is technically just a ball of highly concentrated elemental power. Although my elemental power is slightly different than that of elemental life forms, I gained a better understanding of it when I turned into a fungus. So, all I have to do is imitate that power, while adding some of my own. And I'll be able to do what the fire seed was supposed to.
You're gonna become the fire seed?
Yes. It'll take a lot of power from me, but it still won't be anything compared to when I was in the desert. I might, however, become even smaller.
What happens if you keep getting smaller?
The only idea that I can think of is if she becomes smaller, she becomes like she looks like a baby. Which that would be concerning for the Dendro Archon.
I'll become a blade of grass or a twig. Basically, I'll return to how I was first born. I will be able to unleash power beyond my limits if I can reverse the process of growth.
But you'll lose everything. You'll not only lose your appearance, but you'll lose your emotions, memories, and who knows what else?
This is why I brought up the possibility of those elemental beings are probably going to sacrifice themselves.
That's all right. None of that matters compared to the dangers that the Pep is facing right now.
No, wait! There has to be another way. Besides, what will Sumeru do if you turn into a twig?
Maybe you and the Traveler can plant me in the soil of Sumeru once it is all over.
This is like how Zhongling faked his death in order for the people of Liyue to take care of Liyue instead of him. And kind of like how the people of Mondstadt are taking care of Mondstadt because it's the nation of freedom and Venti doesn't rule over it.
I can still communicate with the world through the forest. It's just that you won't be able to see me for some time.
So yeah, as she said there, she won't have a physical form, but she'll be able to talk to people. She should still have emotions and memories then.
You can't be serious. If the Traveler were here, he definitely wouldn't let you go through with it.
Also, how long would it take for her to... Considering she's still in this small form and she has yet to take up her more adult-looking form, I wonder how long it'll take for her to become this Nahida again.
If we knew this was how you were going to take responsibility, then we never would have agreed in the first place.
Also, would she become similar to how... she might lose her memories, because that's what happened when she went from Ruka Devata to Kusanali. She did lose her memories.
I'm sorry, Paimon, but we're out of options.
No, you're not.
Not all eagles who have fallen to the ground can soar in the sky once again. But if no risks are taken, then the eagle will be grounded forever.
Also, we're inside the Dendro Dragon, by the way. If you didn't put that together, we are inside the Dendro Dragon, hence why the place looks the way it does, and when the Dendro Dragon does appear, it's going to be a lot smaller.
No. Please, no, Nahida.
Oh shit! This is a pre-rendered cutscene because...
I know. A sacrifice must be made, but not by the Lord of Dendro. We've all grown on this long journey. If the purpose of that growth was to return home, then our wishes have come true.
Interesting.
Would you lend us your power?
You knew it would come to this. All the knowledge, language, and emotions that you have learned will be reverted into pure elemental energy. In your new homeland, nothing of who you were will remain. You won't be remembered by anyone. Is that truly the return you've always dreamed of?
Lord of Dendro, don't be sad. This is not your home. We go home. Lord of Dendro should also go home.
Our power.
Hear us, please. Feel our heartfelt desires. Awaken!
To imagine such growth could be achieved in such a short period of time.
It's because you're carrying everyone's hopes and dreams.
Oh shit.
Can go home.
Okay, now that I can pause. Oh god. Okay, I'm gonna pause real fast before anything happens and I fight this thing. What the hell is this thing? I thought this was the Dendro dragon. 2. So a similar thing is happening to them. A similar thing's gonna happen to them, similar to what Scaramouche did. But in a different way. Scaramouche erased everyone's memories of him. And his own memories. So something similar is happening to them. Since they're rejoining with the Dendro dragon. No one, and it's sort of similar to how Ruka Devata was forgotten. It's interesting. Also, would that mean people would have forgotten about Nahida if she did that? Also, that was a pre-rendered cutscene, considering I was in Dendro and not Geo.
Take it easy. Let's get it on!
Ow. Ow.
What a nuisance.
I didn't even realize I have Nahida on me.
I see everything.
Ow. Stop that. Wow, that did a lot more damage than I thought. Oh god.
Everyone hold hands.
Gotcha.
Terra Smash to dust!
Ow.
A sight to behold. Right now. Game's up. Time's over. Quiet now.
Share my knowledge.
Now what?
Thank you for protecting me with your elemental power. Goodbye. We may never meet again.
What the hell?
I will wait for her no matter how long.
Busted. Things are about to get dicey.
Yeah.
Shit.
This may hurt a little.
Come on out. Right here. Right now.
Ah, get off.
I see everything. The Temple of Wisdom.
Quick.
Show them. Emerge. Right here.
I don't know what I'm
always
doing.
watching. Right now. Emerge. Right now. Look alive! Gloves off!
Hey,
Emerge. Right now. Right here. Gotcha.
Dust.
everyone hold hands.
Here comes the catch.
Terra smash.
Where's Nahida at? Oh, hey. There's the Dendro dragon.
Learned a wonderful word. It's new, which means light. It will be your own.
Okay, I did not expect that to happen.
Quietly now. Let's get it on! You're dead meat!
I did not mean to activate that, but I guess I'm doing it.
Everyone hold hands.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Quick.
What's happening? Oh, shit, shit.
Things are about to get dicey.
I see everything.
Ow, I didn't even see where she spawned. Or it spawned. I don't know what this thing is.
Yourselves alone.
Right here. Emerge. Look alive! Hi! Busted.
Hey, can you hear Paimon? Say something. You fungi said that your form didn't matter, right? Then let us know that you're all right.
Well, we still remember them. Paimon still remembers them is the big thing, because I'm the only, Aether's the only one that remembers Ruka Devakta. Because I'm not from this world. Or, in this room, I'm the only one that remembers Ruka Devakta. There are some other descendants that probably remember her, if they know her. But we haven't lost the memories of the fungi yet, it seems.
Their knowledge, memories, and emotions have been reverted to elemental power and released. They are no longer able to respond to you. The guardians that have accompanied me for countless eras have also transformed into my elemental power, just as they did. They will be born once again now that they're one. There's nothing to be sad about.
But that's different! They won't ever be the same. Paimon, we will never understand it, and it will never understand us. That's how it's destined to be. But as long as you can be healthy again, then nothing else matters to me, Apep. Sumeru will be free from threat as long as your health is maintained.
I thought that my rage would be kindled once my power returned to me. However, what I feel now is a feeling that has long eluded me. The feeling of peace.
The forbidden knowledge influenced you ever since you were contaminated, greatly amplifying your hatred and rage.
Yes, there's no denying that. Although my hatred for that usurper from beyond the heavens still stirs deep within me, destroying you and your people serves me no purpose. Be that as it may, my position still stands, and I will have nothing to do with you. When you inevitably perish due to your ever-expanding curiosity, I will still sneer and mock you in my heart.
Sheesh, who can put up with you?
I respect your decision, and with time, I will prove to you that we will not repeat our mistakes. Before you begin resting, there is one last thing I would like to know. How did you become affected by forbidden knowledge?
It's a long story. We all once believed in the distant past that only forbidden knowledge could give us enough power to defeat the heavenly principles.
Oh?
The Dragon King acquired the power of darkness from outside of this world, and led us in a fight against the order established by the outsiders.
Is the Dragon King the original sinner? Also, even if they put the name of the Dragon King in that little subtitle, I don't know who that is. I haven't seen anything, or I haven't read anything too much of who that is.
Dragon King?
An unimaginable war took place into that, causing destruction on an unprecedented scale. The world itself was on the verge of collapse.
Are you talking about the Conrio disaster?
In war, the victor would inherit the right to shape the world, while the losers must turn into ash. But I didn't give up on searching for a way to turn the tides, even after the death of the Dragon King.
Or is this before?
As I attempted to collect more forbidden knowledge from the corners of the world, as it was on the verge of collapse, I was stopped by the giant spike that fell from the sky. Sand dunes arose where there was only forest, and it was as if even Sumeru itself was trying to tell me that the era of the dragons was over.
Well, some dragons are still around. Like, one is sealed away in Leeway, Devalin's flying around Mondstadt, and you're still around in Sumeru. Also, yeah, the spike probably hit where the giant cyclone is, but it eventually got turned into something else. Maybe? And because there's a branch that came from it that's on Dragonspine and also and in the chasm in the Eternal Oasis. I didn't find it there because I only been there once. I haven't actually looked, but I'm assuming that either the spike is gone or the spike is inside the cyclone, hence the glow.
But you still didn't give up, did you? Because of Amun al-Ahmar.
Still, I heard that name several times. I either forgot who that is, or I don't know who that is.
Yes. Al-Ahmar eventually obtained this power with the help of Nabu Malikata.
The goddess of flowers! The Eternal Oasis is apparently her, like, little throne area. And that's the outfit Nilu's outfit is inspired from.
His ambitions continue to grow, and he planned to establish a powerful kingdom in my domain. Although I didn't think much of him, I allowed his actions under one condition. The condition was that after his death, all the knowledge he came to accumulate would belong to me. At that time, I still harbored deep regrets. By the time the Dragon King finally returned, the world had irrevocably changed. Some of the dragons have grown close to your kind, and have forgotten all about our hatred from when the world was taken from us.
Dvalin. Mainly Dvalin, because Zhongli created the Geo Dragon. I don't know about the Cryo, Hydro, or Pyro Dragons. Also, and the Electro Dragon, which I believe is a serpent, but I don't know. Also, the this kind of is reference to the Hydro boss. I forgot what I don't know what they're called, but it's like a giant Hydro boss that spawns Hydro enemies. That kind of reminds me of like how she doesn't like humans. She doesn't like us. Hence why she's a boss. Also, maybe is Almor King Deshret?
And some died, leaving behind nothing but their bones, while others chose to flee after experiencing pain and agony.
I.e. the serpent, I think, and Drolin, wherever the dragon was that is in Dragonspine.
But for me, the scales and will of the Dragon King still shine bright in my heart, even to this day. I will follow it until the end of my time.
You really are insane.
When
Jesus.
Al-Ahmar's proud kingdom collapsed, I swallowed him whole as I agreed and absorbed his elemental power. However, what I gained was no benefit. No. I gained the apocalypse. I used up all my strength just trying to keep the pain under control. I had no energy to analyze the knowledge he had accumulated. But even then, I still believe that his insanity was far greater than that of my own.
So that's how the apocalypse started.
I admit that I fell for his trap. I was like a final failsafe in his plan. Tiny Booer, and the rest of you, continue forward. I shall keep a watchful eye. How far will a life so dear and precious to the heavenly principles be able to go? I wonder.
That's also I'm curious about. If they didn't like Conria, and they sent these spikes down, what is their goal? And why are the Gnosis or Gnosi connected to them? Because that's how, even though they don't really care, some of them don't really care about the heavenly principles, the Archons were given those Gnosi for a reason.
Looks like we've been sent back out. Still in one piece, too.
The dragon will need to rest for a very long time before it is fully healthy again. It's not as ruthless as it was before. Curing the dragon of its illness has seemingly made it more open to reason.
I am curious about why is there a giant light there? Is that light leading to where the dragon is resting?
Nobody's in a good mood when they're feeling sick. Even though we accomplished something really important, Paimon still doesn't feel happy for some reason.
Indeed. Although they'll still have the chance to be born again, they've lost their memories of their journey and their feelings for their homeland. Each opportunity for growth is unique in its own way. Perhaps the immense power we released was the pouring out of all these irreplaceable emotions that had built up over time.
Can you really call a place with no family your home?
Family. Right! The Hydra fungus left behind its family. Those two fungi might be waiting for it to return.
Oh yeah! Let's hurry and go take a look! Huh. How are we going to explain all the complicated things that happened?
Here's the thing. I already have a feeling of what's going to happen. They're not going to remember. I don't think they're going to remember the... I don't think they're going to remember it. I don't think they're going to remember the fungi. They're not going to... Yeah, they're not going to remember the elemental being. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even notice that down there. But yeah, this must be a tunnel to... Like, on the other side of that light is probably where the Dendro Dragon's resting. I might be wrong on that, but that's probably the case, since you can't go any further. This is the first time I've been in that tunnel. They might not remember
They're
that
still here!
being.
Have they really been waiting here all this time?
We're back. I'm sorry. I really am. But it's gone home and won't be able to return for a very long time.
Oh, they do
Don't be
remember.
sad. It did it to protect you. Your happiness is more important to it than anything else in the world. It's said that Newer is its most important family member. That's your name, isn't it? Oh. This is wonderful. So it has left traces of itself after all. They will definitely meet again, someday.
That hurts. Why did it show the bird? Why did it show a bird? Is the bird supposed to be its new form? Where's... Aw, I kinda wish Nahida was still here. Aw, these guys are gonna disappear. That's gonna suck. Eventually these characters are gonna disappear. I wish they stayed around. I wish they would stick around. They probably won't. Damn it. That was a neat story. I need to heal. Yep. New weekly boss. The Realm of Beginnings. The Dragon of Verdure once drew up a dreamlike blueprint of life for its people until the grass turned into sand and the apocalypse came. Then dreams had to be burned to fuel life. At the end of those crossroads, their proud forms have been mutilated. In contrast, the new masters of Tibet who stepped into the land were so beautiful and dazzling. I find it interesting that this is here. Like, I honestly thought it would be further in. I'm actually gonna do commissions real fast, and then I'll wrap up. But, future plan here. So the order of this I'm gonna do is the next story quest I do is probably gonna be Dea's, and then I'll get to Baizu's and Yoimiya's. I'll go in order after that. I just wanted to get Nahida's done because of the weekly character. Or the weekly, not weekly character, the weekly boss. And then maybe probably after Dea's quest, I'll do the 3 hangouts with Faruzan, Layla, and Kaveh. Besides Goro, which I still need to do, I've been doing some of the stories. I did Bennett, I did Diona's, I did Shinobu's. I didn't get the Shrine Maiden ending yet, but I will eventually. Okay, let's do these, I'm blanking. Dailies. Also, there's a withered zone in here that I don't know how to fix. So hopefully I can fix that soon. Or figure that out soon. Also, let me show off some party combinations I've been doing. Also, I can probably switch out Dea for now, because I have him as level 60.
Let's finish this, swiftly.
This combination here is actually a pretty brutal combination. But yeah, I like that story quest. It was a deep one. It didn't hit me as emotionally as I thought it would, but hey! What are you doing out here? What are you doing outside? That's unexpected. So, Karakata here is from Tainari's story quest. I did not expect him to be outside. Usually he's hiding in here in box form. Like, he's hiding in this corner in box form. Also, in one of... You definitely have to do Tainari's story quest before you do Faruzan. It's Hangout, I think, because one of them... I've seen the ending picture, and it has, Karakata in it. This is not the conventional way to climb this, is it? I'm, like, taking a long way to do this. Yeah, I like that story quest. It was a deep one, but I will say some were more deep. I've seen, like, deeper quests. Ooh, wait a minute. I don't get sidetracked real fast and use a different team. Also, I have so many characters now that I already have started replacing characters that I no longer am using. I don't have any team with Amber on it now. Yeah, I've been trying to I've been trying to have a team of character, or I've been trying to make a team with every character being used. That seemed to not work. Fire? Why won't you fire? Nope. Wrong order. So that one I need to hit.
I think we can forego the law. And Shroud! Yeah.
Also, I'm kind of used to Tainari's new voice now. I hope Zach shows up in more, like, clap stuff with other VAs. Like, Among Us and that, because there's someone doing animations involve, like, they animate the voice actor's character playing Among Us, and it looks hilarious. Like, you would see Nahida in that. The weird thing is about it is that they're using their real voices because, of course, some people have to change their voices in order to sound perfect for the character, i.e. Nahida. And it's funny to hear the actual person's voice with over their character. Also, I wish Nahida was actually standing there at the end of the story quest so you could actually talk to her, but I guess that's not the case. Unless I'm wrong, and I just missed where she's standing, and she might be gone now. Also, that's... Okay, I don't know why that's still looking like that. I cured that area. Also, there's the tree I'm talking about. It's piercing up over there. Okay, let's see if I can find what I was talking about. Is that it over there? The clouds. There it is. Celestia. If I look in the direction of the map, Celestia is or I believe that Celestia is over where Fontaine is gonna be. Even though it's in a different, it's in a different spot of where Fontaine's gonna originally start. That area itself is gonna be Fontaine. Eventually. Like, not completely, but eventually it will be all Fontaine. But yeah, I forgot I powered that thing over there from the R&R quest.
Keep up.
The next thing I will be streaming is the event once I'm ready to. Wait, what is over there? Oh, it's a beach. I do find that interesting that part of Sumeru is not touchable, so that means this area is eventually going to probably be a different nation. Damn it. Why is it going up? There we go. Probably be easier if I play easier. Like, I bet this was the limit of where you could go before the first section of the desert was added, and the like this was probably the limit where you could go, maybe, or here before like the caravan was added. Because when 4.0 was added, there was no desert. That was all added later in 4.1. So I am curious how like Fontaine's going to be split up in the different versions. Like how Fontaine's going to start, how Fontaine's going to end.
Motion to compel. Wrap up a flame.
Stars, shine for me.
Can't see? One thing after another. I'll approve you!
Not now.
Boom boom! Incinerate!
And Shroud! I hear everything!
Magical lamp!
Cole, learn to command.
Motion to compel.
Ow. There's another team. Also, I might check on Jet.
Close. No going off on your own.
Might actually check on
doesn't
Jet.
take prisoners.
Because I've done that both. I'm guessing her mother's notes and her father's axe are still in the Oasis if you actually go back to the Oasis. But I'm not actually gonna check on stream.
We'll see about that.
Don't get frostbite. Freeze.
Come a little closer. Too late for regrets. Let's get it on! We'll see about that. Wretched dastard!
Ow.
Too late for regrets.
There it is. You can see it more clearly now. And it... Let me see, where am I facing? So I'm facing there. So yeah, eventually Fontaine's gonna reach all the way, like, around this area. And eventually, that means that's gonna eventually move, and that's gonna be, like, down here or something later. Did I do all the story quests already? Or not, commissions, I mean. Also, you get free Lila from the event, but I already have her on this account.
Thank you for complete.
As you saw me using her.
Add Astra.
Oh, wait, don't want him. There you go. Maybe I should go check real fast. I doubt they're still there. No, yeah, they're gone now. Damn. Oh no! They're still here! Hey! I hope they're still here after I teleport away again. That's cool. Let me check now on Jets real fast. She should be down here. There she is. I think that's her. Her and Ben Ben. Hey! Yep, she's here. And Ben Ben's alright. Also, they're still here.
Sun's out, guns out. Just sucks that I got so much work to do.
Oh wait, are they gone? Oh no, they're not gone. Sweet. I'll end it by them. But I'll have Diluc still, since he's still one of my newest characters. So I'm gonna end it here for now. This has been Nahida's character story. I think it's the longest character story I've done so far. But yeah, that stuff was deep. And now we have a new weekly boss unlocked. But yeah. And we met the Dendro dragon, which holy shit, she's huge. And yeah, they say it, but by the voice, it's probably she. Because Dvalin's a he. And I believe the Geodragon's a he. So. Not misgendering, just so you know. Just saying. But yeah, I'm gonna end it there for now. I wish I had Nahida. Hopefully when she reruns I can get her. But yeah. Also, I hope they figure out the problem with getting Dea's and Tainari's signature weapons, because I believe they're in the standard wish pull, but god, they're probably a pain in the ass to pull. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this is uploaded later today or tomorrow, depending. What day is this? It is Sunday, so this should be up later today or Monday when you're watching this. So, yeah, next stream of Genshin will probably be the event. And I plan on doing, actually I don't know if I'll do that all 3 days in the same session, because holy crap, on the other account I started it and the first day took a while. I guess if I don't mess around it'll be shorter, but yeah. Anyway, for now, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good day. Bye guys. Have fun with the new event. See you all later.